And we are live. This is episode 23. Got the LeBron jersey on just to show the love. 2-3 is my favorite number. Let's just jump straight into it. We got some NFL news. 54 days into the NFL draft. That's super exciting. We got part 2 of the mock draft coming out tomorrow. So there's going to be a little bit of changes. We're really just going to highlight those changes tomorrow. We're not going to go over the entire round because some of it is consistent, like who's going number 1. Obvious. He's been going number 1 for 3 years now. So that's that. J.J. Watt signed a 2-year, $31 million contract with $23 million guaranteed with the Arizona Cardinals. That means him and Chandler Jones are going to be in the same front 7. That's crazy because they have the first and second most sacks in 2012. So quarterbacks beware. Breeze says he still wants to play, but New Orleans doesn't want to give him a contract. But it's crazy because Pittsburgh just gave Big Ben a contract, and Big Ben is absolutely worldly amounts of trash. And Drew Brees isn't. So that's confusing. Jimmy G is unconcerned about trade rumors. So a source on the locker room says that even though his name has been popping up in trade rumors, he still feels confident. He still feels like he's going to be the 49ers starting quarterback moving forward. That's awesome for Jimmy G. Great mentality to have, especially if you want to lead a team. Dak deal is looking more and more unlikely. Dallas and Dak are nowhere near on the same page. They need to be because Dallas needs a quarterback and Dak needs a team. So let's do that. Russell Wilson is in trade talks, but would only approve a trade to Dallas, Chicago, Las Vegas, or New Orleans. I think all of those places would be awesome for him to go. They all have good defenses, if not great defenses. They all have young cores on the offensive side. And Russ can teach everybody a lot. So I hope he just comes to the Dolphins. Deshaun Watson reiterates to his new head coach, walks into the office and says, "Hey, I'm not playing for you. I'm not playing for this organization anymore. Just trade me. You have no hope." Yeah. All right, NBA news. The Lakers, I was about to call them the Lakers. The Lakers lose 5 of their last 6. They're kind of struggling. They have a lot of injuries. They need to kind of figure it out. They don't have enough star power right now. The Suns are at the 2 seed, which is pretty impressive. The Bucks still trying to figure it out. They are getting better, but they do need some time still, I feel like, to actually mesh and make that playoff push. The Nets have won 9 straight, so they're sitting pretty as front runners for the chip, really. The Knicks are 18-17 and are the 4 seed. They had fans running up and down the street. Rockets have lost 12 straight games, but nothing is more embarrassing than Minnesota losing 8 straight games, and because of that 8th game, they now have the worst winning percentage in all of pro sports history. That means every pro team you can think of any sports, they have the worst losing record all time. So every game that they've ever played as an organization, you were to take the wins and losses and get the percentage. It's the lowest of all time between every sports team professionally ever. And they drafted Karl Anthony Towns at number 1. Anyway, Zach LaVine is trying to keep the Bulls in the top 10. Sorry, Malene just got here and Buddy is freaking out. Come on, go. Take off. Zach LaVine is trying to keep the Bulls in the top 10. There is a playoff play-in, so the 10th through 6th seed in both conferences will have to play each other in order to see who gets the 7th and 8th spot in the I apologize. The 10 through 7 seed have to play each other to see who gets the 7th and 8th spot and going into the playoffs at the end of the season. So Zach LaVine's trying to keep the Bulls in like that top 10 area. Denver and Golden State are really trying to figure it out. Golden State's still hit or miss, but Denver is really rising every day to just try to get better, try to make that playoff push sooner into the season so that they have all of the momentum they can possibly get going into the postseason. That brings me to New Orleans and OKC. 2 very disappointing seasons. I mean, this is a very guard-heavy league, and both of them traded their star guards in the offseason. Jrue Holiday is off the Pelicans now. CP3 is off the Thunder now. And I think that since this league right now is so guard-dependent, you can't just trade your best guards and expect to be the same team, if better. I folded. I thought New Orleans was going to be better, but now I see that they can't be. And this is just a very disappointing season for them. The NBA All-Star weekend is tomorrow. There's no All-Star weekend. It is just on one day. The dunk contest will happen at halftime of the All-Star game. Everything else will happen before. So let's get into it. In the skills challenge, you got CP3, Luka, Robert Covington, Julius Randle, Sabonis, Vucevic. Usually, I lean towards guards, but bigs have surprised me in this competition before. So I'm going to go with my boy Luka. He's a huge guard. He plays pretty much every position except center. So I'm going to go with him and his skill set because it just revolves around 100% finesse, which is what the skill challenge is. 3-point contest. We got Conley, Jaylen Brown, Steph, Zach LaVine, Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum. I would be a fool to tell you that I don't think Steph Curry's going to win. He's back. And when he was there the first time, he was in the 3-point contest setting records. He's back now off injury. I'm going to go Steph Curry in the 3-point contest, of course. In the dunk contest, we got Obi, Anthony, and Stanley. Obi Toppin from the New York Knicks, rookie. Anthony Simmons from the Portland Trailblazers, young guy. Cassius Stanley, rookie out of the Indiana Pacers. This is going to be a great one. I don't trust bigs in the dunk contest because they're just not... They can jump really high and they have a lot of power, but they don't have the finesse to be able to pull off the cool wow factors of dunks in the dunk contest. So I'm actually going to go Anthony Simmons because I've seen that guy jump and I just think he flies through the air with ease. Now let's get down to the All-Star teams. We got Team Bron versus Team KD. On Team LeBron, we got Giannis, Steph, Luka, and Jokic making up the starting 5. And then Jalen, Paul George, Rudy Gobert, Damian Lillard, Sabonis, Simmons, and CP3 rounding out the bench. On Team KD, KD is not playing because of, I think, COVID protocols, but he's got Tatum, Kawhi, Kyrie, Embiid, and Beal starting, and then Conley, Harden, Levine, Mitchell, Julius, Vucevic, and Zion on reserve. Congratulations, first-time All-Star Zion, and after 14 long years, Mike Conley, first-time All-Star as well. Injuries are to Booker and Anthony Davis. They would have been playing, but they are All-Stars. They're just not going to play in the game due to injury. All right, let's get into the UFC. UFC, Blaydes versus Lewis. Derek Lewis absolutely knocked Curtis Blaydes the flarf out. Okay? Derek Lewis threw an uppercut that landed so perfectly, it sent a 250-pound man dead in his tracks, just stopped them. And then he stopped and just kind of fell over. Like he froze in time and then just fell over. And then he got hit with 2 more punches, which, you know, it is not Derek's fault. It is not Derek's job to stop the fight. It's the referee's fault. He gets up after those next 2 punches and goes, that's Herb Dean's fault. Daniel Cormier comes out on the podcast immediately the next day, agrees with Derek Lewis because that is Herb Dean's fault. It's not anybody's fault. It's part of the job, but it's not Derek Lewis's responsibility to stop punching him. It's Derek Lewis's responsibility to keep going until the ref pulls you off. Next up, Yana Kuniskaya, unanimous decision over Caitlin Vieira. Congratulations, Yana Kuniskaya. I was talking unworldly amounts of shit last time, and I apologize. You didn't deserve that. I mean, you did deserve that, but you proved me wrong. That's the whole thing about the podcast, called Prove Me Wrong Podcast. I talk my shit, and it is up to the athletes to prove me wrong. Yana Kuniskaya proved me wrong. Congratulations. Caitlin Vieira absolutely got dominated. On the ground, on the feet, didn't matter. Good job, Yana Kuniskaya. Derek Minor, UD over Charles Rosa. That fight was an absolute banger. These guys came out to scrap. I loved every minute of it. Congratulations, Derek Minor. Chris Daukaus TKOs Alexei Oleinik. I think Alexei Oleinik is kind of like that gatekeeper into the top 10 to 7 range of the UFC heavyweight division. I think he has been for a very long time. Every time he starts to pick up a little more momentum, he gets knocked out, and it's back to square one. So congratulations, Chris Daukaus. Philip Paz majority decision over Nasruddin Imanov. This was not my favorite fight. It was kind of just in there. Congratulations, Philip Paz on the win. Tom Aspinall rear naked choke over Andrei Arlovski. So Tom Aspinall actually had Andrei Arlovski rocked for most of the fight. Like from opening bell to rear naked choke, Andrei Arlovski was in a daze of confusion because Tom Aspinall hits hard. And then Andrei was kind of just like, Tom was on his back, and instead of getting up ready for the choke, he kind of just gets straight up, and Tom grabs the neck and takes it with him. that shows that this is an MMA fight, and Andrei Arlovski was just not. I think he was just rocked and confused and tried to stay alive, and then Tom Aspinall with the instincts just pulled out the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu rear naked choke for the win. And then in the prelims, Sergey Spivak TKO Jared Vanderan, Ayman Zahabi, which is Faraz Zahabi, leader of TriStar Gym in Montreal. His little brother, Ayman, is also the doppelganger of Ariel Helwani. I've never seen those two guys same place, same time. He KOs He KOs Draco Rodriguez. Great punch. And then he tries to follow up, doesn't follow up, pulls back. Great guy. Casey O'Neill TKO Shayna Dobson. Shayna Dobson came into the UFC, a lot of hype. That hype has been shut down. I don't really care. Casey O'Neill has shown that if you're willing to put all of the years and years and years and years of being a martial artist into this, that it's going to pay off. Casey O'Neill with the dominant TKO. Julian Erosa hit Nate Landwehr with the double knee from hell because he got a double knee flying knee KO. Congratulations, Julian Erosa. Then he goes after, because Nate was kind of complaining about the stoppage, got hit with the knee, dropped, and then after like a second or two, gets up and is like, hey, I'm fine, don't yell at me. And Julian Erosa goes into his post-fight interview and goes, nah, the ref saved that guy's life. It's my job to go until he's telling me not to. The ref saved that guy's life. And that's pretty much the best way to put that. Julian Juicy J Erosa, welcome to the limelight, brother. You're going to do great things in the UFC. Next up, John Castaneda KOs Eddie Wineland. Eddie Wineland, former WEC champ, one of the fastest people in the division. John Castaneda had a huge puzzle to figure out, but once he landed that power shot, Eddie Wineland was rocked, and then John Castaneda went in, hit him with a 4-punch combination. Eddie Wineland didn't want anything after that. Good stoppage by the ref. Jared Gordon, unanimous decision over Jenny Chavez. Great. Awesome. Next up, we have Rozenstruik versus Gane. The entire main card, UFC Fight Night, happened over the past weekend. Cyril Gane pitches an absolute shutout. Unanimous decision over Jairzinho Rozenstruik. 50-45 across all scorecards. That's awesome. Jairzinho did not want to pull the trigger. Cyril Gane honestly fought a smart fight. He was like, oh, you're not going to fight me? Okay, I'm going to stand back here, and I'm going to just keep punching you, knowing that I'm faster than you. You can't punch me, because I'm going to get out the way fast. Every time it looked like Jairzinho was trying to put forth offense, it looked like he was winning. So I don't know why he wouldn't keep doing that. He just kind of was tentative the whole time. And Cyril was able to pick him apart from the outside using his speed. Great win for Cyril Gane. He's probably looking at the winner of the... I'm so sorry, I forgot. There's been a lot of There's been a lot of heavyweight action recently. Alexander Volkov got a win over Overeem. Then we have Lewis over Blaydes. Now Gane over Rozenstruik. Those three guys are definitely going to be in the mix because they're all in like that top 4 to 5 range now. So they all have to fight each other in order to get that belt because, of course, we have Miocic and Stipe waiting right now for their turn to fight for the belt. That's awesome. Magomed Ankalaev, unanimous decision over Nikita Krylov. That's a great win for him. Nikita Krylov's a great name. This was a good fight, good high-paced fight. Both guys really came out to try to show what they're good at, show their skill set, and Magomed just kind of inched it out little by little as time went on. Good win for him. Montana De La Rosa and Mayra Buena Silva fought to a draw. Now, I think Montana De La Rosa controlled the fight for the most part, but Mayra Buena Silva definitely landed the harder shots, definitely was the more technical striker. So I'm not mad with the draw. I think this is great. I think, honestly, they should just run that back. That was a great fight to watch. I think if people were to watch women's fight like that, that the women's side of the sport would get the love and attention that it deserves. So I think they need to run that back because that's probably a guaranteed finish if they run that back. Pedro Munoz, unanimous decision over Jimmy Rivera. Pedro Munoz is really doing what he can to take his career to the next level. He is trying to fight for a title one day. So he's coming in here and he's just kind of shutting people down one by one by one. Really proud of him. Jimmy Rivera is a legend of the sport. No disrespect in losing to Pedro Munoz. It's just not his time anymore. Alex Caceres has a unanimous decision over Kevin Kroom. Alex Caceres actually was like, I think it's time for a top 10 guy now. Because he was that guy that was win one, lose one. Horrible record in the UFC. Sub 500 record in the UFC, actually. And then he's kind of a 500 fighter overall. But recently, starting in 2020, at the end of 2019, really, he started to pick up momentum. Has gotten some great wins. I think he's on a 4-fight win streak now. So let's try to get him more into that top 10 mix now because he's really deserved it. Him at featherweight is nice. In the prelims, Thiago Moises, unanimous decision over Alexander Hernandez. Alexis Davis, unanimous decision over Sabina Masso. Ronnie Lawrence, TKOs, Vinny Cachero, and Dustin Jacoby, unanimous decision over Maxim Grisham. That was an okay card, but let's move into the big guns. This is what everybody's been waiting for. UFC 259 happens today at 8 o'clock. Prelim start, 10 p.m. main card starts. UFC 259 Blachowicz versus Adesanya. Let's just jump straight into it. Jan Blachowicz versus Israel Adesanya. I have Israel Adesanya by TKO. I think he's going to stand on the outside, wait for his opportunities, and then he's going to find ways to pick Jan apart and then make Jan make that one mistake. That one mistake that always gets everybody with Israel in trouble. And Israel's going to capitalize on that mistake, and he's probably going to get the TKO somewhere in round 2 or 3. Now we've got the GOAT, Amanda Nunes, versus the #1 women's featherweight in the UFC right now, Megan Anderson. Amanda Nunes puts her 145-pound title up. And I have Amanda Nunes by TKO. This is literally David versus Goliath on skill set and in size, because Amanda Nunes is tiny. Megan Anderson's 6 foot. I mean, she's bigger than me. And Amanda Nunes is the GOAT, and Megan Anderson has had a rough career up to this point. So if you look at who's better, it's David and Goliath. And if you look at size, it's David and Goliath backwards. So it's a really fun, interesting matchup to watch. I have Amanda Nunes by TKO probably in round 1. Probably in round 1. Peter Yan versus Aljamain Sterling. I'm calling it right now. This is going to be fight of the night. This has fireworks written all over it. The 3rd time this has been scheduled. It's finally going to happen. And I have the Funk Master himself, Aljamain Sterling, winning by unanimous decision. This is going to be a great fight. Fight of the night, Aljamain by UD. Next fight, Islam Makhachev versus Drew Dober. Islam Makhachev is just a different breed of human. He is closely affiliated with Khabib Nurmagomedov. They kind of have the same fighting style. And DC, Daniel Cormier, came out this week and said Islam Makhachev impresses more people in the gym at the time in his career than Khabib did. Like, right now, Islam Makhachev, at his point in his career, when Khabib was at the same point, Islam Makhachev is impressing more people than Khabib Nurmagomedov. Khabib has GOAT status, so Islam, he needs a win. He needs to keep winning, because if he could keep winning, then he's going to get a title shot sooner rather than later for sure. I think Islam's going to win by submission, probably around 2 or 3. Thiago Santos versus Alexander Rakic. Rakic, doesn't matter. Somebody's winning this fight by knockout. Somebody's winning. I don't know who's going to win this fight, but somebody's winning this fight by knockout. I'm leaning more towards Santos, but anybody could win this fight by KO. I think this is a guaranteed first-round finish on either side. But this fight's just tune in, because it's going to be amazing. In the prelims, we got Dominic Cruz versus Casey Kenny. I'm going to go Dominic Cruz, dominant unanimous decision. I don't think he gets touched. Yeah. Great to see Dominic Cruz back in the UFC. Song Yadong versus Kyler Phillips. I'm going to go Song Yadong by TKO, probably in round 2. Wouldn't be surprised if it was in round 1. Joseph Benavidez versus Askar Askarov. You know, Joseph Benavidez had the 2 title shots, folded, and I think that his career is just at this point. I'm going to go Askar Askarov. Joseph Benavidez is an absolute legend, but right now, I don't think he has it anymore. So I'm going to go Askarov by TKO, probably in round 1. Rodrigo Bontoren versus Kai Kara France. I'm going to go Kai Kara France. Trains at City Kickboxing with Israel Adesanya. Kai Kara France is super, super fast. Great movement. I'm going to go with him. TKO, probably around 2 or 3. Now, this gets me to my favorite part of the podcast this week, we have a UFC 259 giveaway. As soon as this is uploaded, I'm going to hop over to my IG. I'm going to put polls up for the entire main card. So that's Thiago Santos versus Alexander Rakic, Islam Makhachev versus Drew Dober, Peter Yan, Aljamain Sterling, Amanda Nunes, Megan Anderson, and Jan Blachowicz versus Israel Adesanya. That's 5 fights. All you have to do is answer the polls before the main card starts at 10. So voting does close, or poll closes at 10. If you get all of those right, so after the card happens, I'll check everybody's results. If anybody gets them right, you'll get $20 Cash App to you. You'll get 30 seconds of airtime on the podcast next week. And 2 movie tickets, wherever movie theater you want to go. I'll even pay for popcorn. All you got to do is, I'm going to post a UFC 259 post. You have to put that on your story. And then you have to answer all the questions in the polls. And then you are all set. You are in. And I will be DMing the winner on Sunday. So if there is a winner on Sunday, literally the day right after, I'll be DMing you, asking you for your Cash App information, for your phone number, anything that I don't have already to get you what I promised you. It is $20 cash money. 2 movie tickets whenever you want. Just hit me up. I'll buy your movie tickets for you. And then 30 seconds of airtime on the podcast. Thank you to the Raw DJs, not here right now, but they're always appreciated. Thank you to Buddy, who came in to surprise me on the podcast. Love everyone. And am I missing anything? No, I think we're out. Let me dance, even though there's no music. Ooh, killing it.